So OpenAI Chief Product Officer Kevin Weil just made a statement that's sending shockwaves through the tech world. And honestly, it might change how you think about coding, AI, and your career. Let me show you.
Does Anthropic have a timeline for when code gets like 99% automated? I'm talking about actual functional code that you write for front end and back end. They said, yeah, 2027. Right? Do you have timelines on that? Do you have a theory on where code goes? Because you write this on a daily basis and you work with the research teams and you build product. Do you have a timeline in mind?
I mean, at the rate that we're going, I would be surprised if it's 2027. I think it's going to be sooner. Yeah, I look. So when we launched GPT-4o, like you said, very good coding model, like back end of GitHub Copilot and all these other things. People are using it at scale all over the world. But it doesn't really compare with like when we launched O1 Preview. It was a much better coding model because reasoning matters when you're writing code, right? Whether you're anything hard you're doing, if you're doing a crossword puzzle or a Sudoku, you're writing code, you want some level of reasoning, some ability to like break down a problem into smaller problems, form hypotheses, validate or refute those hypotheses, and like that's what reasoning is doing. So O1 Preview was, I think, the best, like the millionth best competitive programmer in the world. When you play it against you sort of replay a bunch of programming competitions, it would come in at about a millionth, which doesn't sound that great, but there are, I don't know, 30, 40 million programmers in the world, so you're like top 2-3%. O1, that was O1 Preview. O1, when it launched, our first like real launch of a coding model, was something like the 1,000th best engineer in the world at competitive coding contests. O3, which is coming soon, according to the same benchmarks, is the 175th best competitive coder in the world. And as we are starting to train, the successor models, they're already better. And so I think this is the year that, at least by the competitive coding benchmark, this is the year that AI becomes better than humans at competitive code forever, right? In the same way that computers passed humans at like multiplying 70 years ago, and AI passed humans at chess like 15 years ago. This is the year that AI gets better than humans at programming like forever.
Wait, what? If AI can code better and faster than humans, does that mean software engineers are doomed? Should anyone even learn to code in 2025? Let's unpack this. Alright, let's talk about how wildly good AI is at coding right now. Tools like ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot aren't just autocomplete for code, they're becoming autonomous. OpenAI's coding models have improved exponentially. Back in 2023, GPT-4 was solid but needed handholding. By 2024, GPT-4o was suddenly ranking in the top 1% of coding competitions. Then came the O1 Preview. This thing was already in the top 1,000 globally. Fast forward to 2025's O3 model. Now it's in the top 175, better than 99.9% of human coders. But here's the kicker. OpenAI's internal models are already top 50. Sam Altman says a superhuman coder is coming by end of 2025. An Anthropic CEO? He's betting on 2027. Either way, this is happening. These models aren't just autocomplete. They reason. Kevin compared it to solving Sudoku, breaking problems into steps, testing hypotheses, iterating. Sound familiar? That's exactly what senior engineers do. But AI does it at 10x speed. Oh, and here's something crazy. Leaked docs say OpenAI is planning to charge $20,000 per month for a PhD-level AI agent by 2026. Why? Because they're betting companies will fire junior devs and rent AI instead. Developers using Copilot report coding 55% faster. Startups are building full apps in days, not months. But here's the thing. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei just said something even crazier.
If I look at coding, programming, which is one area where AI is making the most progress, what we are finding is we are not far from a world, I think we'll be there in 3 to 6 months, where AI is writing 90% of the code. And then in 12 months, we may be in a world where AI is writing essentially all of the code. But the programmer still needs to specify, What are the conditions of what you're doing? What is the overall app you're trying to make? What's the overall design decision? How do we collaborate with other code that's been written? How do we have some common sense on whether this is a secure design or an insecure design? So as long as there are these small pieces that a human programmer needs to do that the AI isn't good at, I think human productivity will actually be enhanced. But on the other hand, I think that eventually all those little islands will get picked off by AI systems. And then we will eventually reach the point where the AIs can do everything that humans can.
Many experts said that AI will be our collaborator, not a replacement yet. But hold on. Why are some experts saying software engineers will lose jobs first? Let's get real. Coding is pattern matching. And guess what AI is stupidly good at? Patterns. Writing a function to sort a list? AI's had that nailed since 2022. Debugging? It scans millions of lines in seconds. Even designing systems. Meta's new AI can optimize server architectures better than most junior engineers. But here's the kicker. AI doesn't get tired. It doesn't need health insurance. It can crank out code 24/7. For CEOs, that's a dream. For junior devs, a nightmare. A leaked report from a Salesforce company last month said they're planning to shrink engineering teams by 30% because of AI.
We are going through a global labor shortage where we see all these declining birth rates. We understand that it is harder to hire, especially people here right in the United States in sales and service. You can see it. And this is going to give us the ability to do more. And as an example of that, look at engineering. I think in engineering this year at Salesforce, we're seriously debating maybe we aren't going to hire anybody this year because we have seen such incredible productivity gains because of the agents that work side by side with our engineers and making them more productive. And we can all agree that software engineering has become a lot more productive in the last 2 years with these new models.
Now, before you panic, let me hit you with the upside. Because this isn't all doom and gloom. AI could give us medical apps that predict diseases before symptoms even show up. Climate models that actually help solve global warming. Video games with NPCs that feel alive. And this isn't sci-fi. Google's AlphaCode already beats 85% of humans in programming contests. But here's the twist. The government's quietly preparing for something bigger. AGI. In 2023, Biden signed an order requiring AI companies to report if they're training models above a certain compute threshold. Why? Because once AI can improve itself, it's game over. That's AGI. Artificial General Intelligence. And OpenAI's own internal docs say they're targeting pre-AGI systems by 2026. Sam Altman said to the Congress, AGI will be the most powerful technology humanity has ever invented. We need to be prepared. Prepared how? Universal basic income? New education systems? Nobody knows. But if AGI arrives, coding as we know it vanishes. Which begs the question, should we learn coding in 2025? All right, here's the brutal truth. If you're a total beginner, don't just memorize syntax. Focus on problem solving. Learn Python, yeah, but also get good at AI prompt engineering. That's where the real power is. If you're a mid-level engineer, your edge is in becoming an AI whisperer. It's less about cranking out code and more about mastering system design, reviewing AI-generated code, and leading AI-assisted teams. Senior devs? You're not going anywhere yet. Your role shifts to high-level architecture, making sure AI does what it's supposed to. But here's the real talk. Coding in 2025 is like math after calculators. You still need to understand it, but you're not crunching numbers by hand anymore. The real winners? They're the ones using AI as a co-pilot, not fighting against it. Think of AI like a tireless intern. It does the grunt work, but you call the shots. And let's be real, that's way more fun than debugging CSS at 2 a.m. Look, the future's uncertain. But here's what I know. The people who thrive won't be the ones afraid of AI. They'll be the ones riding the wave. So learn to code? Yes, but learn to code. With AI, stay curious, keep experimenting, and smash that subscribe button if you want more no BS tech insights.